We are reminded that, in the fleeting time we have on this earth, what matters is not wealth, or status, or power, or fame, but rather how well we have loved and what small part we have played in making the lives of other people better. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Keep exploring. Keep dreaming. Keep asking why. Don't settle for what you already know. Never stop believing in the power of your ideas, your imagination, your hard work to change the world. You can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. When times get tough, we don't give up. We get up. Change is never easy, but always possible. When ignorant folks want to advertise their ignorance, you don't really have to do anything, you just let them talk. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I do that every day. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows you have the courage to admit when you don't know something, and to learn something new. You can't always come up with the optimal solution, but you can usually come up with a better solution. If somebody is different from you, that's not something you criticize, that's something that you appreciate. Just because we have the best hammer does not mean that every problem is a nail. Throughout history, Islam has demonstrated through words and deeds the possibilities of religious tolerance and racial equality. Fighting for what you think is right is always worth it. Greatness is never free, it must be earned. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. Hope is not blind optimism. It's not ignoring the enormity of the task ahead or the roadblocks that stand in our path. It's not sitting on the sidelines or shirking from a fight. Hope is that thing inside us that insists, despite all evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us if we have the courage to reach for it, and to work for it, and to fight for it. Hope is the belief that destiny will not be written for us, but by us, by the men and women who are not content to settle for the world as it is, who have the courage to remake the world as it should be. Every country has violent, hateful, or mentally unstable people. What's different is not every country is awash with easily accessible guns. As you get older, your mind gets a little more set. And it needs the poking and prodding and breaking through of stereotypes that I think young people provide. Our destiny is not written for us, but by us. Every single one of you has something you're good at. Every single one of you has something to offer. And you have a responsibility to yourself to discover what that is. That's the opportunity an education can provide. Of all the rocks upon which we build our lives, we are reminded today that family is the most important. and we are called to recognize and honor how critical every father is to that foundation. They are teachers and coaches. They are mentors and role models. They are examples of success and the men who constantly push us toward it. Don't just get involved. Fight for your seat at the table. Better yet, fight for a seat at the head of the table. We did not come to fear the future. We came here to shape it. If you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. When our interests and values are at stake, we have a responsibility to act. We may come from different places and have different stories, but we share common hopes and one very American dream. Don't ever let anybody tell you that your efforts don't matter or that your voice doesn't count. Don't ever believe that you can't make a difference. You have. No one built this country on their own. This nation is great because we built it together. Where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you'll end up. No religion is responsible for terrorism. People are responsible for violence and terrorism. It's not just enough to change the players. We've got to change the game. Every life must be given the chance to realize its full potential, that every life matters. Every life must be given the chance to realize its full potential, that every life matters. We, the people, recognize that we have responsibilities as well as rights, that our destinies are bound together, that a freedom which only asks what's in it for me, a freedom without a commitment to others, a freedom without love or charity or duty or patriotism, is unworthy of our founding ideals, and those who died in their defense. The thing I know for sure is that at the end of my life, what I'm going to remember is the love I felt for my family and my friends, and whatever good I did for other people. Climate change constitutes a serious threat to global security. A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things. One thing I don't like is when you disrespect the law. I'm a warrior for the middle class. We don't turn back. We leave no one behind. We pull each other up. It's important to make sure that governments have some checks on what they do, that people can oversee what's being done so the government doesn't abuse it. The real test is not whether you avoid failure, because you won't. It's whether you let it harden or shame you into an action, or whether you learn from it. If you're a strong man, you should not feel threatened by strong women. Don't just buy a new video game, make one. Don't just download the latest app, help design it. Don't just play on your phone, program it. Persevere. Nothing worthwhile is easy.